FSF Podcast live show. Well, hello, kids and cadets. Yes, we are going to be late. Tim was most definitely experiencing technical difficulties. No, I was not using Windows again. Yes, we are officially late at this point. I, too, am surprised that Kathleen wasn't in here as well. Apparently, Kathleen was busy. She needs to come in and get some pants out of that room. John said she should hurry up. Apparently, she hasn't done it yet. Now we're all up to speed. We're all on the same page. So,
hey,
welcome to our level of insanity. No, my MacBook Pro here, I haven't restarted in a couple weeks. And every once in a while, it just out of the blue decides that nothing is going to work quite the way it should.
Yeah.
Until you hit the reset button. And so I had to hit the reset button at 6:58. And it was like, we could hurry. We could. Or we'll take our time. It took its time.
Hang on. I got to help somebody with something 1 second.
I heard voices.
I hear voices too, but the medication helps with that.
I couldn't get the door unlocked.
Whose fault is that?
Why do you lock it?
To be left alone.
That doesn't work.
Hang on.
Nobody can see me from here anyway.
Anyway.
No, nobody can see you, but we can certainly hear you, and this might be the most entertaining thing we've done on this show in quite a while. So
I want to.
If you're wondering, John is darking out his camera because there's a pantsless Kathleen.
We don't get paid enough for that.
So, there's not enough OnlyFans in the world for that. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's what you want us to think. All right, guys. So if you found your way into this bevy of craziness, I would like to welcome you officially to the FSF Podcast Sidebar. Tonight, we're going to talk about Andor Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. Now, personally, I'm very stoked about this. I have been looking forward to Andor Season 2 since Season 1 ended. The second that show was over, I was like, where's Season 2? You know, so, and then, there was the strike and all these things that kind of push things to the back burner, and understandably so. Right. So,
artists deserve to be paid for their work.
Absolutely. I'm not faulting anybody for that strike, for sure. But hey, before we jump into this, a couple things. Now, this is an opportunity where I'd like to say, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about things that happened Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Those 3 episodes are released in one bank, episodes 1 through 3. So if you have not watched episodes 1 through 3, you're more than welcome to stick it out with us, but just know that we will be discussing spoilers. And so there might be some things that maybe you haven't seen yet. Maybe you're not fully up to speed on. But hey, if you have, let's talk about it. Let's have some fun. And if you're listening in and ready to put some comments in the comment section as we get going, don't forget to hit the like button down below and give us that follow as well, if you would, please. Yep. Now, before we get much farther, we want to take just a quick second to remind you that this show is only possible by the support of our show partners, Bones Coffee Company, Idea Farm, and of course, the amazing Level Up Sabers. But most importantly, our show is possible because of viewers like you. So we want to thank you for either watching or listening, whichever way you are catching our pod. We just want to say thank you for being here and being part of our shenanigans. And if you're not already following us out on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram, you can find us at FSF Podcast. John, of course, handles our Star Wars RPG. So he is FSF Podcast _RPG. So you can find him out on those very same things with the very same things, handle and such. Yeah. Anyway, and then words. Why use many words when few words do trick? So, and you may have noticed the beater going along the bottom there. We're asking you tonight, if you can, to consider donating to PanCan for research against pancreatic cancer. Now, we've talked about every year we do this. We've worked very hard for and closely with Armin Shimmerman, Kitty Swink, Jonathan Frakes, John Billingsley, and Juan Carlos Cotto. That is the PanCan team. However, this year, due to no fault of their own, through federal budget cuts and so forth, The federal program that was dedicated exclusively to pancreatic cancer research receives zero funding. So our donations, even as little as $5, mean a whole lot this year. So you'll notice there's a QR code up in the top right-hand corner. I'm not sure which is my right based on the way my screen is mirrored, but I'll use both fingers up on the top right-hand corner. You can scan that, or you can go into the links down in the show notes down below, click the link and donate. Even as little as $5 is a massive win. And if you can't donate $5, we appreciate you considering it. And would you please consider sharing either our QR code or the link down below, and encourage your friends to do it as well. It's a huge help. And if you're interested to work in walking with the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, or PanCan, there is a walk this Saturday and almost anywhere around the nation. If you go to pancan.org, you can find out where to walk. Also, starting tonight, Revenge of the Sith is starting with its 20th anniversary showings all across the nation. So if you haven't got your tickets for Revenge of the Sith at Star Wars Episode 3, which is in theaters right now, now's your time to do it. Hopefully it hasn't been sold out, but I believe it's only just for this weekend, and then it goes away. So, but I go tomorrow night. I'm excited.
Yep. You got to learn how to read a calendar, Tim. You had other stuff scheduled at the same time, so.
Also, this is true.
Yeah. It's a running joke between us that, Tim says, we're going to do this then, and, oh, wait, I can't because.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you're cute.
That's what my wife keeps telling me. Yep. All right, so Andor season 2.
Oh my God!
Hope you guys got your thinking caps on. Hope you guys got your conversational fingers ready to go to type at us some questions, some comments, some thoughts. I'm really very excited about season 2, and I really thought that the first 3 episodes of season 2 did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. I thought they held up really well.
So my take on Andor from season 1 and now into season 2 is that the title character is the least interesting part of the story.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he's just kind of conveniently there to connect people. He doesn't actually, I don't know. I find all the other characters more interesting. Even Cyril, especially in episode 3.
Let's see. Kathleen says either Tim is censoring me or YouTube is rude. It is not me. YouTube just doesn't like you.
Hey, now
they think you're a saucy pants. So anyway, this is also probably true. And anyway, it's probably the first time we've said saucy pants on this podcast. Probably the last time too. So anyway, so let's jump into one of the things that I was most intrigued with, and I was kind of hoping and thinking that it took me a couple seconds to realize it wasn't what I thought it was, or where I thought it was. I was thinking, oh man, they're on Lothal.
A lot of people thought that.
I really did. I thought they were on Lothal. I thought that they were stealing like we saw in Rebels, where they steal the specialty TIE fighter.
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay. That's what's happening here, because that's a really cool TIE fighter.
That's a TIE Avenger. Yes.
TIE Avenger. Yes, it is.
Those are nice. I might need to look up some numbers for those for no reason. Don't worry, Tim.
This is how the rest of our characters in our RPG die.
It's going to be everybody but yours this time.
Yay!
Because
one lonely Ugnaught.
So what I really appreciate about the introduction of Cassian in this season and his ship here that he's stealing is it was so original trilogy Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
He's running a scam. He's flirting his way through things, and the ship doesn't work when he wants it to. Kathleen's comments are going across the screen. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I thought it was very, especially when he got into ships that he didn't understand how to fly. He's like, yeah, I don't know, fly casual.
Yeah.
You know, and or when he got into the ship, it reminded me of a couple things. I didn't really think about that aspect of it until just now, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's onto something. What I
Mhm.
thought of was the scene in Clone Wars where they're on. Oh boy, I can't remember the name of the planet, but it's during the Pong Krell stories. Um, and they have to fly the ships by putting their arms into the thing and navigate it and
Yeah.
fire and everything. And so that was kind of some of the thoughts for me on the ship that he was flying.
Yeah.
Which had a pretty cool interior as well.
Yeah, and this is unlike any other TIE interior we've seen.
Yeah.
Because there are passenger seats in the back.
Right?
And he doesn't have to wear his helmet, so there's atmosphere in there. It has life
Right.
support and a hyperdrive.
Correct. And a
So-
hyperdrive, which is unusual for a TIE.
This is before the Imperials started not caring about their pilots, apparently. That's why they didn't have shields. That's why they didn't have life support. They just didn't care about the pilots. They were expendable.
Right.
So, they're not full. Well, they're full on corrupt. It just hasn't hit all the military budget yet.
I did think it was cool too that inside the ship that he's like looking for the chair and he's just like sits down and all of a sudden, there it goes, comes folding up behind him, and
I want
was
one
just,
of those.
right? Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And another reason why I thought it was Lothal for maybe a hot second, we see all this wheat, we see and having the TIE fighter kind of skim the planet and go over things also reminded me very much of Star Wars Rebels and some of the scenes that were in that show, because of the farming planet, the base, it was a very simple planet, Lothal. And so it kind of reminded me a lot of that. And she's sorry that she's a sassy pants. She's bored.
You should never be sorry about being a sassy pants. You should sassy pants all day long, every day.
She already does that. You're just giving her permission to do something she already does.
If I can't stop her. And if I tell her I want her to do it, maybe she'll stop. But then
Probably
that creates
not
the whole
now.
logical conundrum,
Probably not now, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of the people who were on Ferrix at the end of season 1, when we had the Ferrix Road rebellion and everything else that was going on, have now absconded away to different planets. They're refugees. They're trying to get away from not only the corporation control, but which corporation, which is slowly becoming the Empire, and trying to get away from their grasp as much as possible. So we see Bix, Barrasso, and this other young gentleman whose name I cannot remember off for the life of me.
Will?
Was his name Will? I don't remember.
Wilson. Yeah, I think so. It was Will.
Okay.
Will. Yeah.
You need to stop talking about me like I'm not here. I can hear you,
I know you can hear me.
Hey, Janice, how are you doing tonight? Glad to have you here. So we see them on this planet. They're as what they call toolies. They're there to do mech work and fix all the agricultural tools and keep the things moving, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're doing that as a cover to keep themselves out of trouble with the Empire. Every time they get close, they move to a new section. And so they're in section 500. We see them through the episodes talking about by the way, folks, we're going to jump around a little bit from episode 1 to episode 3 and kind of move our way back and forth through these. But we see them in this little movable structure.
Yeah.
And, they're all very concerned about what's happening, why, where, especially because the Empire keeps getting closer and closer and closer to where they're at.
Yep. And those structures are kind of neat too, because they look like they can just be dropped and then expand out. They kind of have some accordion structure to them.
That's what I was thinking.
Kind of reminds me
kind of drops it. And then...
Yeah. A lot of temporary and travel structures we see today. Just, fancy people with their big fifth wheels that expand out,
Janice. Janice says, I was watching George and Mandy's First Marriage. I can't stop talking about Georgie Cooper.
Oh, there's a new episode tonight. I need to watch that.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
It's a good show.
It is a good show.
Kathleen and I relate to it all.
One of the things we want to talk about, because I have these on here backwards, so I'm going to skip up to this.
Oh,
I put this on here, and typically I don't share anything from this Putz, but this really bothered me. Now, and as I said on Threads, Star Wars Theory has been the village idiot of the Star Wars fandom for quite some time now, and because of what happens in the episodes with Bix and the Empire, this one captain from the Empire keeps coming around when nobody else is there, and makes Bix feel very uncomfortable. And then you kind of understand why. He's pursuing her in all the wrong ways.
So if I may just divert to this,
please do.
Social media post for a second. This gentleman has caught so much blowback from the community about this comment, he's actually decided to stop commenting on Star Wars new releases entirely.
He won't. He'll come back. Because he's an idiot. He won't.
There was a video. He says he's not going to. I'll believe it when I see it. But
yeah. And I love the fact he's like, well, Vader wouldn't tolerate this. Well, Vader didn't know what was happening. Nobody knew what was happening. There was so much that was outside of the Empire's control on these off-put planets
and
that these guys are basically running their own little kingdoms.
Yeah, and should we trust the moral judgment of somebody who murdered children?
No. Negatory. You know, he says you could portray power dynamics and making the audience hate the Empire in other ways. Yeah, you can. But this is also, you know, just like any other conquering land throughout the course of history, when one country goes into the other. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's appropriate. I'm saying that it's factual and accurate to history.
Yeah.
And so to pretend like it doesn't happen or has never happened would be inaccurate, unnecessary, and inappropriate. So anyway, I've seen his name enough on my screen. I can't stand the guy. I wish he would just leave Star Wars alone, but he hasn't.
Well, you have to change his name.
So let's see. But you have each level of the Empire be evil, different ways. SA is one of the ways they do that. Yeah. Your daughter, the absolute panic on the kid's face when she heard trust the moral judgment of someone who murdered children. She only heard part of what Dad said, and I think that's the best part. Okay, so
that's the way it works with dogs, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way it works with just about everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we see this go through, and since we've already talked and said there's going to be spoilers, this clown loses his life as well. He deserved to. So
she beats the crap out of him.
I like Bix. I think she's a cool character.
It's also a really realistic portrayal of head injuries. If you've ever seen somebody get hit in the head that hard, you know, Daredevil's entirely fictional.
This dude takes a couple clankers to the head, and see what did there? Clankers.
Yeah.
Clankers. But yeah. And
he gets what's coming to him.
Ready to share the experience of episode 3 with Honora?
Nope. Got other plans.
So, but yeah, so there is that, and that is a portion of the story. And to imagine that as the Empire went out and conquered other areas, that this would not have happened would be illogical. So, I'm never happy to see those things on screen.
Nope.
But it is factual, and it's totally what would have happened, because that clown and the rest of the Empire stoolies all thought that they were running this place and they were in charge and everything. So anyway, we're going to go real past that guy. We're going to come to this. This might be my favorite thing. Like,
yes.
Yes. Yes. You know, okay. So here's the thing. At the end of season 1, we were doing something my daughter calls it shipping
Yes.
And it's called When You Put Two People Together, and you're like, yeah, these two people need to go together because it just makes sense. And I was like, I never understood what shipping could have possibly meant and why it was so important and all these other things. And then, hold on, there it is. That was at the end of season 1. I did that.
Yes.
So somebody else
I
did it.
remember that.
I took it and I added the text and a couple other things.
Yes.
But yes, till Scarif do we part. And I was like, yeah, this is perfect. Those guys are absolutely going to end up together. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen or not. And then we got this scene.
I know.
We got
The
this
whole
scene.
thing with his mom. Oh my goodness.
Right. I was like, they gave Deidre a personality.
Yes.
And she actually smiled and they humanized her, which I thought was actually kind of a good thing to do, because a lot of times when we see people in the Empire, unless they're defecting, we don't really see them as human. We see them as just pure evil.
Right.
Which there was a lot of people in the Empire who were there because many of them, I'm assuming, would not have felt like they had much of a choice, a chance to do anything else. And maybe Deidre is that person because the way that she talks about the fact that she was an orphan and she grew up in one of the Empire's kinder things and, grew up around all that. And so this is all she's ever known. Why would she look at anything different? Why would she be loyal to anyone or anything else other than the Empire at this point? But I love the fact that she holds up these two different outfits. One's like white and black. It's what I wear every day. Or straight black. It's what I wear every other day. And
you've seen my wardrobe. Anyway.
Yeah, this part of the show honestly really did amuse me quite greatly, because I was like, A, we're getting them together, and B, Deidre has a personality and I'm here for it. I love it. But this scene, I felt so uncomfortable at the dinner scene. Cyril was not having a Baja Blast.
No, he was not.
No, he was not. He was having a very hard time with his mother being there. And Janice wants Montana Jordan to be her math tutor. I don't know if we could arrange that. We can't arrange that, but maybe you can. Send him a note, maybe on Cameo. Tell him you want to, we need a math tutor, and you heard he's really good at it. Stranger things have happened. So, but yeah, so I absolutely love this scene where she's running off at her mouth because that's what his mother does, like nonstop. Like, I could see why somebody would consider like playing in traffic when after she's done speaking.
Oh,
like take me to Coruscant and just let me get hit by one of the 20 vehicles that's going to come by. Just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, but Dangerous
is watching you
handling
guys
of it.
TV.
Oh my gosh, was beautiful.
Yeah. Because in all honesty, this woman is the next great villain of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. She's kind of horrible.
Oh, she's past kinda. I
was half expecting her to get shot before the end of dinner.
Right? Because when Cyril gets up and walks away from the dinner table, I thought for sure he was gonna go get a piece and take her out. I do love the fact though that Deidre's like, yeah, you're gonna talk nicer.
Your involvement in our life will be inversely proportional to the stress that you create.
Yes.
That is a brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. No, it's very good. I love the fact that they were setting terms and poor Cyril. I just think that he's a good dude. He's a neat character, but that dude has some serious underlying mommy issues.
Which
that are
are
also
kind
coming
of-
to the surface.
Yeah.
Tyson is here. Have no fear. Tyson is here. What's up, Tyson? Welcome
How
to
you
the
doing?
madness.
But yeah, the awkward family dinner with your future in-laws is always great fun for everybody, especially when the childhood stories start coming up and all
And
that.
yet somehow still not.
Yeah.
So I did see something today.
Oh no.
I saw a part of a video clip with these two folks talking,
Uh-huh.
and they were at a, I think this must have been, it might have been at Star Wars Celebration, but they're both up on the stage, they're both talking. I do have a feeling that things will get a little spicier between these two, just based on the way things were saying. Now, I don't think it's gonna be anything more than a Star Wars type of spicy, but there will be some level of interaction where Cyril will have to look like he hasn't just pooed his pants and make a move, or Deidre's just going to wear the pants for him and totally make the move for him. I haven't decided how this is going to go.
I mean, she does seem to be the boss in the relationship. So,
oh, for sure, 100%. Tyson said, "I haven't seen the episodes yet, but also have no fear. Spoil away. I'll get there soon." Perfect.
Beans.
Yes,
we're not going to cover everything, so there's always going to be something new for you.
Yeah, there's going to be some gaps in our storytelling here. But as we were saying, or as I was saying, this is the new villain of Star Wars. Everything about this woman just screams. I think even Darth Vader would run from her. I think the Emperor would be like, "I tried to execute her with my sparkle fingers, and nothing happened." She's a black hole void of suctitude, and I just don't think she can be destroyed by common means. Okay. There would have to be something much greater in play.
All right.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of the things I'm looking most forward to throughout this run of Andor is how it's going to connect with some of Star Wars animation, which Star Wars animation has become one of my absolute favorite things in Star Wars. Just because there's far less limitations of what they need from a physical actor. You can have much more things happen to a cartoon character than you can a stuntman. So, yeah. Or CGI, it's cheaper to animate than CGI something.
Right.
So,
also, Young Jedi Adventures is hilarious. Nubs is one of the best characters ever.
Nubs cracks me up. So, one of the things I appreciate is how one of the things when we get Star Wars, we get answers to other things in Star Wars, because if we don't understand Star Wars, John, what do we need?
More Star Wars.
Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
We need more Star Wars.
See, I pretended to think about it.
Wants to know if you like Young Jedi yet. Yes, I have. I've actually been watching some with my grandson, Lucas, and we like Nubs. I've told him he likes Nub. He has not responded with anything other than a few uh-ohs and some laughs, but I don't even know if they were pointed at the TV, but still.
He could have just had to fart.
He's really into Bluey right now, so which is cool. I enjoy watching Bluey with him, but I'm also trying to train my young Padawan in the ways of the Jedi. So we're working some Young Jedi on him. But what I was saying is that we're seeing different ways that these stories intersect. Now, throughout in Rebels, we do meet up with Mon Mothma, and the Ghost Crew is possibly important to Mon Mothma's first real vocalization of anti-Empire things, where she is talking openly about a rebellion. And they do that from the deck of the Ghost.
Yes.
So what's kind of important here is, now these pictures are a little grainy, and I apologize, but who are we looking at here, John? Who's the character?
Erskine Samaj.
Yeah,
and
something
Mon
like that.
Mothma. Yes.
Yeah.
I had to struggle for Erskine. That being her aide, who is also then with her on the Ghost when she makes the announcement.
Correct. So we see them there, and then this is a much better picture there, much less grainy. And but yeah, so we can see
Brisket?
did John said brisket.
Erskit.
Brisket, not brisket. Now brisket does sound good.
I think that's how it's said. Anyway, I would have to look it up and yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's the name. Erskine Samaj. I think we had it backwards. Erskine Samaj.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's kind of nice that we're going to have an opportunity to possibly see this play out. Kind of hoping we will. I think it could be really interesting to see that. Because again, the more I can get the Ghost crew involved, the happier I'll be.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd also have to have a much younger Sabine. We'd have to have a much younger Ezra.
I mean, it could just be a holographic conversation with Hera.
Yeah. Maybe I can find Meemaw's recipe. There we go. Jen. And off and running we are talking about food. Love it. We just ate brisket and tater tots, just like the Cooper family from Young Sheldon's banana cream pie.
Napoleon, give me some of your tots.
So,
Anyway.
so we have that. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out. See if they tie in the Ghost crew to Mon Mothma's statement, or if that's something that's done after the end of Andor, and that's something separate.
Yeah. But Samaj also was raised on Gorman,
which is going to be very important in just a couple minutes.
Yes.
So we'll circle back into that.
It all ties together like a spider web.
All comes together. So, yeah. We also got to see a Chandrillan wedding.
Yeah, this was interesting.
It was.
Also, these kids were 13 and 14 last season, and this is a year later.
Right.
So I don't know if they have different like biological rates on that planet, but this is a 14 and a 15-year-old getting married.
Right.
A little weird.
I think. Yeah, I think it had to, in it, if I remember correctly from season 1, when Mon Mothma and her sister are talking about it, they both talk about how they both hated it. That was something awful to them, and it was not something that they wanted to really participate in, and which is why Mon Mothma in season 1 was so against the original proposition of joining these two families through their children, because of her not wanting to participate in that same ritual.
Yeah.
Were they in Star Wars Kentucky? You mean Star Tucky? I hope not.
No, because they weren't related.
So anyway, throughout the course of this episode, it's kind of interesting to me because we see that Mon Mothma keeps reaching out to her daughter to try and mend some fences, because all throughout season 1 we saw that these two were very separate. Very, there was a chasm between these two, and it has not gotten any better.
No.
When Mon Mothma is trying to explain to her daughter that you don't have to go through with this if you really don't want to, she's trying to give her daughter a way out, trying to express her own concerns and feelings as a mother, the things that she went through as a young girl, going through this very same ordeal, and explaining all the things that her mother said to her, but her mother was drunk. And her daughter responds with, "I wish you were drunk right now."
Yeah.
I was like, dang, okay. And done. That relationship is probably forever severed. But
and a short while later, she kind of gets her wish.
Also coming up to that.
All right.
So all throughout this multi-day affair, we see her talking with her friend Tay, who's I believe from the banking clans, something like that. He's basically going to help Mon launder money so that it can't be identified by the Empire, so that she can help fund the rebellion. And something's going on in Tay's life. He and his wife are no longer together. There's something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude's life is about to come up all zeros, it seems like.
And he
because
blames
he's.
it.
Go ahead.
Oh, he blames it on the rebellion, like straight out. Says that because of the rebellion, his investments have fallen apart, which helped lead to his divorce. So he kind of blames Mon for all this on some level.
Yeah, he wasn't coming right out and saying that this is your fault, but yeah, I got the same vibe that yeah, this is your fault because you asked me to do these things. I did these things, and look what has happened to me.
Yeah,
that's the impression that I got out of this. And so throughout that whole time, they're talking, and then Luthen, who are one of my favorite characters from season 1, especially because that monologue that he had up on that walkway, that catwalk, that was amazing. One of the best monologues I think in cinema. That's just really, really cool. But Luthen is a very intelligent dude, and he sees what's going on. He sees Tay kind of circling around Mon Mothma and just and they're both kind of nervous because what's going to happen, and is he going to lose it and spout off all these different things? And Luthen's like, there's a number that he'll take to shut up. There's a number. Just give him the number.
Yeah.
So, let's see. We got a couple comments from Janice. Any tips for me? I get shy around Montana Jordan. Well, if you're actually around him and have actually an opportunity to interact with him, just treat him like a normal human being. Just talk with him. That's going to get you farther than you think. Just don't make a big deal about it and just talk normal. You'll be fine. He's so very cute and adorable, the cutest. He's just so cute. I think she thinks he's cute. I can't be positive.
I'm definitely picking up the vibe though.
We're picking up the vibe, Janice. You might think he's cute. That's okay. Having him on this podcast would be so very amazing. I have some questions to ask him. If we can ever get him on, we would love to. We have reached out to his people. It's about time to try again, though. Let's see. Is that Papa Skarsgård? That is Papa Skarsgård. That is the eldest of the 87 Skarsgårds that are out there. So,
yep. It's a wonderful role. Even the way that his character changes from scene to scene, from being the socialite to being the spy to being the everything.
He floats in between those very well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he goes from being the socialite and showing off the statue to being just kind of the guy that's there, and kind of taking it all in, not sulking, but soaking it all in, sitting in the background and seeing what's happening, and then having a conversation with Mon Mothma, and you can kind of tell. One of the things you mentioned earlier, that you said that you love some of the characters who aren't the character title character, rather.
Right.
Mon Mothma for me is one of those characters. I have loved the development of Mon through Andor, and getting a chance to see her, and really we're getting a look at how important she is to the rebellion's beginning and everything that's happening. And we see her at this party. She knows something's about to go down. Something drastic is about to happen. And she is in a rock and a hard place in her own marriage, in her relationship with her daughter. Now everything that she's been trying to do for the rebellion is all coming to a head. And she doesn't know if it's a good head or if it's a bad head. And what's going to happen to her. Hey, Jesse, welcome.
Always nice to have you.
Always good to have the Jesse in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what her reaction would be, but will be once we find out what Tay is actually going to do. Can he be bought off? Is there a dollar value out there that he's going to, or is he so embittered that he's just going to want to see everybody else burn? Which direction is he going with this?
Or is his driver, who we saw in season 1, going to just make him disappear?
I think he's going to.
Yeah.
Nice, Tyson. Nice. So in the moment, I think that it was really important for us to see Mon as a human being.
Yeah.
And oh no, Jesse was in a car accident yesterday, so resting. Fun. Oh,
good for him.
Jesse, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better. I hope you're
Yeah.
okay. That is no bueno.
Yeah,
That
definitely
sucks.
not fun.
Blows. Let's see. She says, I only saw a bit of episode 1 of Andor, but did enjoy the Mon stuff. Yeah. It's very cool what they're doing with her, because we talked about with the some of the Empire people, like with Deidre and Cyril. It's kind of neat to see them being humanized, and we're seeing their decisions and everything they're doing from a very human aspect, instead of just the very rigorous, I have to do it this way, because that's what the Empire would want me to do.
Right.
And we're also seeing that with Mon Mothma. We're seeing a very humanized version of her, because in everything that we've ever seen of her, she's always very stately. She's always very, prim and proper. And we see her in this episode finally give in to human instinct, and she's like, everything's going to crap. I'm going to power down some shots, because Okra was hitting some shots.
Woo.
And then, yeah.
The animation's not working.
The animation is definitely not working. That was a GIF of Mon Mothma dancing.
Uh-huh.
I guess it. Hold on, we'll try this and add it one more time. No, it still didn't work.
All right.
But yeah, so that's. But anyway, the very cool GIF of her going through and dancing, and she's having a great time. And side note, I really, really, really want to find that whole dance mix, because that was some really cool techno music. And I think I found the guy actually who made it. Cool. I need to verify that, but I'll have that. I'll know a little more later tonight. Let's see. Jesse says, neck and back injured and car needs repair, but very lucky. Unfortunately, my fault.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That makes it even worse. But I hope you have a speedy recovery. Janet says, I'm going to act so very cool and chill around Montana Jordan. Solid plan. Do that. Let's see. I wonder how her daughter plays a role into all of this. Like something might happen to her. I guess. Yeah. I have to think that if the proverbial crap hits the proverbial fan, and they come sniffing around Mon Mothma and trying to figure out what her level of involvement is, that I'm pretty sure both her husband, Perrin, and her daughter, Leota, are both going to be like, she's right there. Have at her. I don't think there's any loyalty from her husband and her daughter whatsoever.
But yeah.
Why not a bit of both? I don't know if you can wear the. Is it in a El Paso t-shirt? Wear the t-shirt under the plaid shirt. Then you can wear them both. See, do it a little bit of everything. Why not both? Look at me giving out fashion advice.
Don't come to me for fashion advice. You'll end up in a ducky shirt.
Hey, it could be worse. You could have to wear a ducky tie for a year.
I would do that.
You actually would. Yeah, I know. Kathleen says, you'd have my loyalty in a rebellion, John.
Right. I'll take it.
There we go. So yeah, she's still supposed to be dancing, still not dancing. But yeah, so I do like the fact that they are humanizing Mon Mothma, and giving us somebody that I think that a lot of people can identify with, because even though she's a higher statue in life maybe than what you are, maybe she's has more money, more things, all this type of stuff. You're also seeing her at a very basic humanistic standpoint of, I have family troubles, I have children troubles, I have work troubles, I have life troubles, and they're all coming in one spot. And I think a lot of people can really identify with that. If you have teenagers, trust me, you can identify. Add that to your resume, Tim. Fashionista extraordinaire. Yeah, baby. Woo, woo. Anyway.
So, Tim, do you wear socks with your sandals?
Not with my sandals, no.
Okay, just checking.
When my Hey Dudes, I do.
Okay.
But just like, the little they're called no-see-ums. They just kind of.
Okay. But you don't wear like the white crew socks with your sandals.
No, if I'm gonna rock socks and sandals, they're black and they go to my knees.
Wow, the grandpa stage has hit you hard.
No, it has not hit at all yet. So we talked earlier about, and I'm gonna skip back just real quick to this gentleman with the red arrow over his head, that he is Gorman. Now, this is going to be coming up very. Tony Gilroy, who is the showrunner and writer of Andor, has said that something that has been talked about in Star Wars lore and is one of the breaking points of the rebellion, and one of the things that has fomented the rebellion so strongly, is going to be dove into in Andor season 2. And we'll get up to it. It is the Gorman Massacre. So, John, what's coming with the Gorman Massacre?
So, as we could see with the meetings with, Krennic here, the Empire is starting an intelligence operation, like a disinformation campaign to make the Gorman people look bad in the eyes of the general public.
Correct.
Because there's a mineral in Gorman that they need for the Death Star reactor.
Right.
But so much of the galaxy likes the Gorman silk, which is woven by the Gorman spiders, that they kind of need to get everybody's opinion against this planet so that they can make a sloppy rebellion on the planet, put it down, and then crack the planet to get their mineral.
Right. Yeah, it's a propaganda machine that what they have going. And it's kind of interesting. They even have the two PR guys in the room talking about how stuffy and snooty the Gormans are, and they're so snuffy and snooty that even the spiders are snuffy and snooty, and and all these different things. And I'm like, okay,
yeah, and all of your pre-existing opinions about them, we made those. You think that because we said so.
Exactly.
And every government does that kind of thing.
For sure. Jesse's asked, do you think her husband and child might join the Empire? I don't think that they're. It's a good question. I think what it is that they're technically already part of the Empire because of where they're at. They're just not going to join the rebellion. They're just not going to see the benefit of following Mon Mothma into the rebellion, and so there's going to be a split from her family. I think that's what's going to happen. Janice says that she would go to Montana, Jordan, for fashion tips and shoe advice. Well, now you've hurt my feelings. I'm a fashionista extraordinaire. We've already established this. Me and my green t-shirt.
I'm having too much fun.
Janice says, you're going to be 50. How do you feel? I got a couple years before I'm 50. Let's slow down the 50 talk. You're almost my dad's age. You're at that grandpa age. I am at grandpa age, and I'm very okay with being a grandpa. It's one of the coolest jobs I've ever had. So
all the fun, none of the responsibility.
Exactly. Shake them up, sugar them up, send them home. So, but yeah, so it's kind of interesting. We have this massive propaganda, disinformation campaign going, and we have Krennic recruiting Deidre for this to take over on the planet Gorman and kind of run the show there, which I think is kind of interesting. Even her boss inside of the ISP is like, you need to, or ISB rather, is you need to go take this. This is a gift.
Yeah.
Let's see. I bet the hubby dies and the daughter blames mom. So yeah,
I can see that happening.
Absolutely. That's definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, Kathleen, it actually does. It does make being a parent worth it. And there's lots of other things. I enjoy all my children for different reasons. There are also some days when I've decided that I'd rather not have children. And I think all three of my children would understand that. You're going to be 50 is giving you too much credit. You're not going to make it, man. That's also a distinct possibility. I know my wife. And I know that this runs a little too much for her liking.
Yeah.
But here's what this is one of the interesting things. Like I said, Tony Gilroy has said that this is going to be a running story in season 2, that we will see the Gorman massacre and the fallout from it. and we already have this still shot.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. Basically, if you're not familiar with what happens, there's a peaceful protest against the Empire on the planet Gorman. Stormtroopers basically go ham. They eradicate the protesters. They they quiet the protesters.
Quiet them. Quiet them.
Quiet them by killing them is what they do.
Yeah, I was trying to be diplomatic here. And maybe we'll see, some proof of Kenobi's statement about only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise. Because, in the movies, they miss a lot. Admittedly, maybe hope was on purpose. But.
True. But maybe, we're still kind of early into the Empire. So maybe at this point, they're still getting quality training, not being rushed through as much. There is that time level between where they stopped with the style of training they were giving the clone troopers, which was very intense and regimented, to the conscription soldiers, if the kid gets stuck in something because she was doing something being ridiculous, can I leave her there?
Depends on what it is. Because, if it was the toilet, I need that.
John's other office. Let's see. I'm not the right person to answer Janice's question. My dad is very dusty. What did she ask? How do I reconnect with my dad? I thought you and your dad. Okay, I guess I didn't know that you guys were had some struggles there. I thought you guys hung out quite a bit. I don't know. That's a tricky one, honestly, because every situation is different. So.
Yeah, most human relationships are based on finding some sort of common ground that you can agree on and working out from there.
Yeah.
Yes, Kathleen, we got the Dusty joke. Your dad was cremated 5 years ago. Well, almost 4.5 years ago, something like that. Anyway,
he's dead.
Dead Tom's dead. Anyway, because Muppet Treasure Island is the best of the Muppet movies. I don't care what Fred says.
Turf. Stupid name. Anyway, that'll never get old. Just ask Tim about fashion advice, not familiar advice. I can give familiar advice if I know all the players, but it's hard to give advice when I don't know somebody. But I think John's words there were probably the best. You have to find some level of middle ground between the two of you and kind of work from that. Just kidding. Don't ask him about fashion advice either.
I'll actually second that one. Except cufflinks. Your cufflink selection is on point.
Exactly. If you'd like to see Andrew James Spooner, one of the Muppeteers from Muppet Treasure Island, talk about the her brother's name and how he was not a fan of Muppet Treasure Island, it's at the 2018 mark of the Andrew James Spooner interview. I encourage everyone to check that out. It's a lot of fun.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but especially not deny, that Kathleen has that video timestamp bookmarked on her phone so she can send it to people randomly.
As well she should.
Exactly.
So, and now there's one more slide that I want to go over through in the course of this conversation. Now, this is one that you asked me to put in here, and you said you thought that this image was going to be important. So yes. I'm going to bring this up on the screen, and I'm going to let you explain why. There it is.
So this might look familiar to some people who have been around since 1977, like Tim. Sorry. Okay. Who were at least 4 years old in 1977. Better. So this is the planet where Andor had crashed the TIE and was then captured by the squabbling rebels who tried to solve their problems with basically space rock, paper, scissors. Probably one of the goofiest things I've ever seen in Star Wars. And that's saying a lot, and including Jedi Rocks.
I've watched Caravan of Courage, so yeah, it's right there.
But they were on Yavin 4.
Yeah.
So this is where the rebel base is at the end of A New Hope. So Andor has found the new base location. That in 4 years, at the end of this season, they will have an operational base.
Okay.
Having recently left Dantooine.
All right.
Because, So yeah, those are the Masasi temples that the rebels are going to use, because each 3 episodes is a year apart. This one was 4 BBY, then we'll have 3, 2, 1. Jump into the Rogue One movie, and then straight into episode 4.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I've been there.
You've been where?
That's why I'm confused. You've been to Yavin 4?
I didn't think I sent you guys. Dantooine. You guys were on Dantooine. That's what it was. You had the farm on Dantooine that you used to hide the base.
Oh, for our RPG. Yes, our characters have been there.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I was very confused. I'm like, oh, she's been to this physical location?
Right.
Let's see. All right, so Kathleen said this.
Yes.
And then she also responded with bookmark downloaded, sent to said brother repeatedly.
And that's part of why I love you.
Tyson also said, I just watched Muppet Treasure Island again like yesterday, but Muppets Christmas Carol is my go-to.
Okay, both of those movies are peak Muppet, because
they're both very good.
Tim Curry, the one notable human actor in the film, is basically a living Muppet. And then in Muppet Christmas Carol, the actor's name escapes me. I forget it. The old white dude. Anyway, he basically treats them all like they're dignified human actors. So you have they're both on equal footing with the Muppets, but for very different reasons. And it's beautiful.
John and I danced to Love Lettuce here as our first dance at our wedding. Didn't you guys also do the half Muppet version of it?
Yes, I took some of my editing software and spliced out the first chorus of the human version and put in the Kermit and Piggy version just for that chorus. And
just
then
to confuse everybody.
And the looks on people's faces like, is that Kermit and Piggy? And Kathleen and I are just laughing our butts off about it because, Michael Caine, thank you, Tyson. I'm 46 now. My brain doesn't work like it used to.
Let's see. I missed one. Here we go. Off topic, but Kitty Beverly is giving me lots of love right now. She senses my discomfort. Yeah.
So fun thing about cats. There are medical devices called bone stimulators that will cause vibration to help your bones heal. Cat vibrations, when they purr, are actually at the same frequency. So a purr cat laying on you can actually help your bones heal.
All right. I'm down with that.
And I'm done being educational now.
There you go. Also, Muppets Take Manhattan. I will never see it the same, knowing that Gates was in it for like 2 lines. Oh, no kidding.
Really?
Interesting. Huh. I did not know that either. And if you want to see John and Kathleen at their wedding dance to Love Lettuce here, looks like Kathleen's going to give us that video. So we'll get it up on Patreon. Be a lot of fun. There you go. All right, guys. So that's Andor episodes 1 through 3 for season 2. Now, this week, if you hadn't already checked it out, yesterday morning we released our interview with Sofia Yepes, wonderful actress who's starring in a new movie that's available on exclusively on the In the Black network called The Low End Theory. So check that out. Really good interview with her. She's also the podcast host of a pod called Sana Sana Single Mama, which means heal single mother. And it's all about this. She is a single mom, and she talks about single mothers and single mother communities and the hard work of being a single mom and all these different things. And it's a really nice conversation. Very much enjoyed talking with Sophia. She's just a ton of fun. So you can check that out on your favorite audio podcast providers, and of course here on YouTube as well. And also, as a reminder, don't get your Star Wars from this tool bag. Go somewhere else. Can't stand this guy. He's an idiot. So genuine question: did the name Andor come from the phrase "and or"?
That makes way too much sense. So it must be true.
You're thinking too much, Tyson, and it's scaring us. John has the video. Let's see. She was the secretary and witnessed the chicken attack, the bad dude when he assaulted Gonza. Brilliant scene. Interesting. Okay. I'll have to go back and check that out.
I mean, it's a Muppet movie. They're all brilliant scenes. And it's Gates, so of course it's a brilliant scene.
Well, see, there you go. It's just lots and lots of fun. And again, guys, before we sign off, just want to take a quick second to remind you that there's still time to donate to PanCan to help us fight against pancreatic cancer. This year, more than ever, your donations mean more than ever because the one federal program dedicated exclusively to pancreatic cancer research is now receiving zero funding this year. So please consider scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner or going down in the show notes down below and going to and clicking the link and going and donating. If you're not able to donate, that's completely understandable. But if you can, even $5 matters so very much. And please do so. If you can't, share the link, share the QR code, help us get the word out. Because even though the walk is in a couple days, the need for pancreatic funding is year-round. So this is not a need that's going to go away. This, unfortunately, as long as there's pancreatic cancer, there will be a need for funding and research to help cure pancreatic cancer. So, but yeah. And just one more time, we called it last year. Oh, yeah. Anyway. And awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Jesse. You are amazing. She donated yesterday and she did it through our team. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, guys. I think that's really the end of this for us. I have nothing else to add other than I can't wait for next Tuesday for 3 more episodes of Star Wars.
Yep. It's hard to cram it all into like the time period between the release and us talking about it. I don't know how some other channels do it, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You should get a shirt now, Tim.
A PanCan shirt?
Oh, are you talking? I think she means one of her shirts. Because Jesse, hey Jesse, do you have your link handy real quick? And if you could put it in the notes, I'll put it in. Let's put it up on the screen real quick. Peace out, Girl Scouts. I'll watch the new Andor now. And some more Muppets. Solid
Nice
plan, my dude. Adderall. That's how the other channels do it.
Paid editors, screener episodes.
Yeah. I would love to get on Star Wars screener episodes. Oh, if you raise 50 for PanCan, you get a shirt. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So you get a cool purple shirt if you show up to the. I think you have to show up to the walk, but I'm gonna message them and see if there's another way that I can get a super cool PanCan shirt. But yeah, because I would like to start wearing that on some of our live shows and some other venues that we go to. So I do have my hoodie from them from 2023, but yeah. Anyway, all right. On that note, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you again. We have a live show on Monday night, and we have our reviews of Andor for the next few weeks every Thursday night at 7 p.m. So come join us. Have some fun. Let's talk some Star Wars and leave the fandom menace far behind. Let's have a good time and build up our community with some aggressive positivity. And on that note, may the Force be with you as you continue to live long and prosper. Goodbye. Welcome to the FSF Podcast live show.